and welcome to the Literary Gladiators channel. I'm Josh.
And I'm Ari.
And today we're going to be talking about what we've been reading lately. I think it's just an interesting topic to touch upon what it is we've been going over. For us, is our time off from getting ready for any general discussions or any roundtable reads or whatnot. So what have you been reading lately, Ari?
Well, I have a couple of individual videos that have come out over the last couple months. There were some short stories that I did, and there have been some small novels that I've done as well, and I'm also reading a very long novel, and as well as a couple other things. I did an individual video about 4 years ago on a Doctor Who book called Fear of the Dark by Trevor Baxendale. You might remember it.
Okay.
I'm rereading it again because, you know, I'm sometimes at work I have pockets where I'm not doing much, so I'll pick up the book and read, and it's very different from when I remember it before. Still an excellent story, but there's a lot of different stuff about it. You don't really have to be a Doctor Who fan to enjoy Fear of the Dark, simply because it seems like a standalone story. You don't need to know about the TARDIS. The TARDIS isn't even really in the story, at least not to this point. And you don't really need to know about the past of Doctor Who. It's just such a wonderful, dark story where this particular incarnation of the Doctor has to face fears that really this is the most human of all the Doctors, meaning he has the most human qualities, so it's really tough.
Maybe I'll be inclined to read that one after we read
Borrowed Time.
Borrowed Time.
But that was a modern novel. It was a lot shorter. It was more for younger people. This one is for older people.
Okay. I would consider giving this another chance, despite the fact that I did not really care for Borrowed Time. It doesn't have a very high rating on Goodreads.
Yes, Borrowed Time, I think, I thought it was really good. I mean, I think Naomi Alderman did a great job with it, but again, it's more geared toward young adults and then younger audiences. Fear of the Dark, by far, is geared towards fans who are like our age. And not even just fans, like anyone could read it. It is so dark, chilling. It's got different characters. Each character is fleshed out very well. And I'm only about halfway through reading it for the second time, so it's quite interesting so far.
Okay, and you have anything else planned for the near future?
Yeah, well, I also just finished reading, talk about kids' books. I recently read Frindle again by Andrew Clements.
I did see that video.
Yeah, that's a book that I just like as a child. I have always enjoyed that book. It's a fun book. Reading a book by Gregory Maguire right now called Egg and Spoon, which is interesting.
Okay.
Don't want to get into too much about that at the moment. Another book that I'm reading, this is an interesting one, and I'm going to be doing an individual book. It's a young kids book, like not a pop-up book, but like a children's book called Snow in Jerusalem. And the reason I'm reading it now, and I probably will do a read aloud of it, is because it really fits with what's going on in the Middle East right now. It is like if you wanted to teach a kid about what's going on in the Middle East and what would be the outcome that you would want, this would be the book you'd want to read. And I'm not going to go too much into it because I'm going to do an individual read aloud of it. But it's basically a Jewish boy who lives in the Jewish quarter of Jerusalem, and an Arab boy lives in the Arabic corner, the Armenian quarter. They are both following the same cat, and they get to meet each other. So it's very interesting. I'm going to probably do a read aloud of that as well.
It's an interesting topic for them to cover because
especially now.
One of the books that I have a book, it's a cookbook right above your head called Jerusalem. It has recipes that cover all aspects of Jerusalem, be it the
Jewish quarter,
the
Muslim quarter, the Armenian quarter, the Christian quarter, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think it primarily concentrates on the Jewish and Muslim quarters.
Yeah, so this book also primarily talks about those two.
Yes.
It also has some Hebrew and Arabic words that kids can learn as well. Obviously, they're written in transliteration, which means that it's not the actual Hebrew or Arabic symbols, it's what they sound like written in English. So, overall, I mean, that's most of the stuff I've been reading at the moment. Obviously, working in the library at the school I work at has given me the opportunity to look at different books. Oh, one more book that I'm just looking at is The Big Fat Cow Goes Kapow. Is a book that I'm reading right now. I know that's a very strange title.
Is it part of the Dr. Seuss umbrella?
No. It is not Dr. Seuss at all. It is actually a graphic novel.
And by that I mean the Dr. Seuss, because some of them are not written by him, but they're written from...
No, this is longer. This is more in depth. It is a graphic novel.
Okay.
The Big Fat Cow Goes Kapow. I want to say it's Andy Griffiths, but I have to double check.
What's the target audience?
Oh, kids.
Kids.
Still,
Okay.
it's still kids. It's just, it's not Dr. Seuss. It's more for kids like in the 10 to 12 range, or maybe a little younger than that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a graphic novel, and it's cute. I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
Just because the title, sometimes it's just the title that screams out to you. The big fat cow goes kapow. I mean, come on, you'd want to read a book like that, right?
Arlene Sardine caught my attention. Look what happened to
Arlene
that.
Sardine is in the library, and I was gonna check it out and bring it here, but I wasn't gonna torture you with that. It is in the library though. I checked the catalog.
Okay, I hope that people.
Don't read. Well, it's for the kids. It's for.
I mean, they have a right to read what they want, but I hope that they don't have to read it.
Yeah, it's for the kids though. I think the kids. I don't think anyone's checked it out yet, but I know that if I can find it, maybe I'll put it on the shelf. Because here in the library we have a new kind of thing going on where we always want everything to be forward facing as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So like instead of having books like this, we'd want them to face outwards on the shelves, on top of the shelves, so the kids can pick them and read them and stuff like that. So.
Only so many books can be that way.
Well, no, and also the library at my school is a lot bigger than this. So. But what have you been reading lately, Josh?
What have I been? My big thing right now has been Newbery Medal nominees, and that's projections because we don't know who the nominees are, who the winners are yet for the 2024 awards.
Is that the same thing as the Caldecott, or is that different?
Newbery is chapter books. Caldecott is picture books.
Gotcha.
It's for younger readers, ages 14 and under. The chapter books, I think, would cater to an older audience than say.
Wasn't Number the Stars a Newbery winner?
Yes, I know. The Giver was, for sure.
Number the Stars was an excellent book. I actually read that recently, too.
Hold on.
I just can't remember if it's a Newbery winner or not.
It is a Newbery winner.
Yep.
It's got the medal on here.
This is a book you should read, by the way. Very good book. And there's The Giver right next. I guess you keep all of your Newbery books up there.
I like to keep like authors with one another. It's just coincidental that that many of them are together. And Holes is a Newbery medal winner too.
Oh, Lewis. Okay.
Here's my stack right here. I have 7 books. I'm referring to a list on Goodreads. Artemis Spark and the Soundseekers Brigade is the one that I'm currently reading at this time.
So these are all books that came out in the last year?
They came out this year, 2023.
And they're up for Newberries.
I finished reading What Happened to Rachel Riley by Claire Swinarski, and I think this was excellent. It has to do with the central character, Rachel Riley. She was popular, but then she fell from grace. Anna Hunt, who is new, she moved to this area in Madison, Wisconsin from Chicago with her parents and her older sister. She speculates why this person who at one point was popular is a halfway decent person and is just quiet. How could she go from being incredibly popular to incredibly unpopular?
Essay?
Yes,
I'm reading the back of the book.
Yeah, she's taking a social issues class, and she gives them an assignment to do what's called an unessay. Anna decides to do hers on what happened to Rachel Riley, and she wants to figure out why she fell from grace. I thought it was heartbreaking, but at the same time heartfelt. I thought it was funny. I thought the characters were very well fleshed out. I think they're very raw and
Now, are you going to be able to vote for any of these for Newberries, or is it more a committee?
It's more of a committee. I think that certain librarians from across the country, big name, they put votes in. I can review these books and can really have an impact on how people, what they gravitate toward. After this discussion, I will probably be reviewing what I've read, and I'm going to continue reading. I have 5 more of them here. This is When Sea Becomes Sky by Gillian McDunn. I have A First Time for Everything, which is a graphic novel by Dan Santat. I have Simon Sort of Says by Erin Bow.
Simon Sort of Says.
I
can imagine that would be a difficult game.
Good Different by Meg Eden Kuyat. This one is written kind of like an Ellen Hopkins piece where it's different poems that connect. So it's written in verse. And then this is Finally Seen by Kelly Yang.
Now, one of the books you said you wanted to go over during the new season was New Kid. Who wrote that book?
Jerry Craft.
Yeah, so we have that book in the library also.
Okay, and that's a Newbery Medal winner as well.
That's one that I will definitely take into account when it's the one where it's like got a black, half the cover is black, and then you see this kid who's like wearing a hoodie or something on the other side of it. That's it. Okay, that is a very popular book amongst the kids in school, right?
That was my graphic text nominee for the roundtable read, and I know one of the other contributors was going to nominate that, even though I told them that.
And I remember I put it very high on my list of what I want, because it was like 4 or 5. I was like, this sounds really good. Now I'm going to have a chance to read it, and we'll be able to do it.
I'm looking forward to that discussion, too.
And then one more book that I'm reading right now is another Agatha Christie called Appointment with Death.
Okay.
That's an interesting one. I'm not done it yet. I actually have not read this one yet, so I don't know quite what happens. So far, a woman at an archaeological dig named Lady Boynton has been murdered.
Ooh.
So we're going to have to figure out who did it and why and what all the intertwining and what the crash of her company's stocks means to everything. I'm still working through it, so when I am finished it, I intend to do a review on that as well.
Well, after I'm finished here, some of my other... I might consider dipping into looking for Alaska. I'm not entirely sure, because I'm never that great when it comes to TBRs, because I'm a mood reader. So unless it's for the general discussions or the roundtable reads, my mind changes.
Yeah. And if you want, Josh, I can get you a copy of Fear of the Dark by Trevor Baxendale. I think I actually have it here with me.
I think I'm going to be good for now. I might take you up on your offer if...
Put it on your TBR.
I'll consider it. We'll see. I have a lot to choose from. I mean, if you put it on the schedule, then my chances of going over it are going to...
True. But I've also done an
further.
individual video on it, so maybe I will next season, or maybe I'll just keep it. It's just reading it a second time. It's blowing my mind more than it did the first time.
Okay.
So definitely a recommendation from me.
Alrighty then, that is what we've been reading as of late. Share in the comments what you've been reading. We would love to discuss with you what it is that you've been going over as of late. With the year almost coming to an end, be sure to keep an eye out for our lists. I know I'm putting together a list of my 10 favorite books that I read in 2023.
And I'm probably going to do a top 5 as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing yours. And I'm hoping that the other contributors put something together too, because I always enjoy checking out what people enjoyed reading, and then sometimes even comparing notes. It's especially interesting when we read many of the same works. I know that Jesse and I would do 10 best books that we read during the year, and because we did discussions together, there were some mutual... I remember The Martian was very high up on both of our lists.
And I also saw the movie for The Martian, too.
That was an interesting one, because from what I've gathered, there was a key detail that they pointed out was not the way it happened in the book. When they adapted it for film, they did exactly just that, because that's the way films are. Thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you check out some more videos from our channel, and we have a lot more.
Subscribe to our Patreon as well.
Yes, please support us on our Patreon, because the money that we make will allow us to provide you, the viewer, with even more great content. And for now, and as always, we encourage you to keep reading.
Keep reading. See you later.